When Dr. Choi Min-ji's hands trembled above the patient, everyone in Seoul National's VIP surgical suite turned to me. The same woman who had erased my name from every research paper, every medical breakthrough, every moment of recognition, was now begging me with her eyes to save her career. I smiled as I stepped forward, my voice steady in the silence. "Don't worry, Dr. Choi. I know exactly how valuable hands can be. My name is Park Soo-jin, and that day in the operating room, I finally got to rewrite history." Dr. Park's contribution to this research was minimal. I stood frozen in the conference room as Dr. Choi Min-ji, our department's rising star and newly appointed chief of cardiothoracic surgery, addressed the hospital board. On the projection screen behind her, my 18 months of groundbreaking heart valve research was being presented, with her name as the sole author. The innovative surgical technique we'll be implementing hospital-wide came from extensive collaboration with our international partners, she continued, her voice smooth as silk. "I'm proud to represent Seoul National as the lead researcher." Board Chairman Kwon nodded approvingly. "Exceptional work, Dr. Choi. This will put us on the global map." I watched her accept handshakes and congratulations for work that had consumed my days and nights. The technique that would save hundreds of lives, born from my sleepless weeks analyzing patient data, my failed attempts, my breakthrough moment at 3 a.m. in an empty lab. Dr. Park, Min-ji's voice cut through my thoughts. "Could you prepare the detailed implementation protocols? I'll need them by tomorrow morning." The room's attention briefly shifted to me, the quiet resident expected to nod and comply. Instead, I met her gaze directly. "Of course, Dr. Choi. I'm very familiar with the research." Her smile faltered for just a second. "Naturally. You assisted with some of the preliminary data collection." "Some," I repeated, softly, letting the word hang in the air. Dr. Kim Jae-wook, the hospital director, looked between us. "Dr. Park, you'll continue supporting Dr. Choi's research initiatives. This kind of collaboration is what makes our hospital exceptional." Min-ji's eyes gleamed with satisfaction. "Dr. Park has been invaluable to the team. Haven't you, Soo-jin?" I bowed politely. "I've learned so much from observing your methods, Dr. Choi." As the meeting dispersed, she approached me with that practiced warmth she used on powerful people. "Soo-jin, I hope you understand. Medicine is about leadership, not just technical skill. The board needs to see a clear vision, a strong voice. And my voice wasn't strong enough? Your research was promising, but presentation matters. Impact matters. I'm simply better positioned to elevate this work to its full potential." I nodded slowly. "You're absolutely right, Dr. Choi. Position is everything." She patted my shoulder like I was a promising student. "I knew you'd understand. There will be other opportunities for you to contribute." That night, I sat in my small apartment reviewing every email, every shared document, every time-stamped file from our collaboration. Min-ji was brilliant, I'd give her that. She'd been almost careful enough. 3 weeks later, I watched from the surgical observation deck as Min-ji performed her first live demonstration of her technique. The VIP suite was packed with international surgeons, medical journalists, and hospital executives. "The key innovation," she explained to her rapt audience, "lies in the microsuturing approach to valve replacement." I knew those words. I'd written them in my research proposal. Dr. Sarah Chen from Johns Hopkins leaned forward. "Dr. Choi, the precision required for this technique must demand exceptional hand steadiness. Have you experienced any challenges with implementation?" Min-ji's confidence never wavered. "Hand stability is indeed crucial. Years of practice have prepared me for this level of microsurgery." But I noticed something the others didn't. A slight tremor in her left hand as she reached for the sutures. Barely perceptible, but there. She'd been hiding it well, compensating with her right hand, but muscle fatigue was setting in. Essential tremor. Progressive. Devastating for a surgeon. "The suture placement requires absolute precision," she continued, her voice steady even as her hands betrayed her. Dr. Martinez from Barcelona nodded. "Extraordinary technique. How do you maintain such control during extended procedures?" "Practice," Min-ji replied smoothly. "And knowing when to delegate appropriately." Her eyes found mine through the observation window. For a moment, something like vulnerability flickered across her face before the mask returned. After the demonstration, I found her in her private office, staring at her hands. Impressive surgery today, I said, closing the door behind me. She didn't look up. What do you want, Sujin? To help. I don't need, your left hand has been trembling for weeks. It's getting worse. The silence stretched between us. Finally, she raised her eyes to meet mine. What's your point? No point. Just an observation. I moved toward the door. Oh, and Dr. Choi? I've been documenting my original research methodology. Time-stamped files, email trails, preliminary drafts. Very thorough documentation. Her face went pale. What are you suggesting? Nothing at all. I'm just very detail-oriented. As you know from our collaboration. I paused at the door. If you ever need a steady hand in surgery, you know where to find me. The emergency came at 2 a.m. VIP patient, massive trauma, complex cardiac repair required. Minji's technique, my technique, was the only option. I arrived to find the surgical suite in controlled chaos. Minji stood at the scrub station, her hands visibly shaking as she attempted to prepare. Dr. Park, Dr. Kim approached me urgently. Dr. Choi requested you assist with the procedure. Through the glass, I could see Minji struggling with the basic surgical wash. Her tremor had worsened significantly under stress. Of course, I replied calmly. I'm here to support Dr. Choi however she needs. I entered the prep area where Minji was alone, her confident facade crumbling. I can't, she whispered, staring at her shaking hands. The patient will die if I can't operate. What do you need from me, Dr. Choi? She closed her eyes. You know what I need. I need to hear you say it. I need you to perform the surgery. Using whose technique? The question hung in the sterile air. Her jaw tightened. It's your technique. And the research? Your research. I stepped closer. The innovation that's bringing international recognition to this hospital? Yours. The word came out like a confession. I began my surgical preparation, my movements precise and confident. Dr. Choi, I have a proposition. What? You're going to publicly correct the research attribution. Full credit, formal acknowledgement, international presentation opportunities. Her eyes flashed. And if I refuse? Then you perform this surgery yourself. With those hands. Through the observation window, I could see the patient's family waiting, the medical team preparing, the journalists who'd been covering Minji's rising star status. You're destroying my career, she said quietly. I'm saving it. Your tremor will only get worse. But your reputation can survive sharing credit. It can't survive a patient death from surgical incompetence. She stared at her reflection in the mirror. Why help me at all? Because despite everything, you're a good surgeon. And that patient deserves the best care possible, even from someone who stole your work? I finished scrubbing and turned to face her. Dr. Choi, I'm not saving your career out of kindness. I'm doing it because when I walk into that operating room, everyone will see exactly who has the steady hands and brilliant mind this hospital really needs. Her phone buzzed. A text from their coordinator, ready when you are, Dr. Choi. Time to decide, I said. Do we go in together, or do you explain to the family why their loved one died because of your pride? She looked at her hands one final time, then met my eyes in the mirror. Let's save a life, Dr. Park. The surgery was flawless. My hands never wavered as I executed the complex valve replacement. Each suture placed with the precision that only the technique's creator could achieve. Minji assisted brilliantly, her knowledge and experience invaluable even as her hands remained steady only through careful positioning and strategic pauses. Incredible work, Dr. Martinez observed from the gallery. Dr. Choi, your surgical precision is extraordinary. Through the intercom, Minji's voice was steady. Dr. Park is demonstrating the technique. I believe in recognizing exceptional skill when I see it. A murmur rippled through the observation deck. This wasn't the narrative they'd expected. Dr. Park developed this innovation, Minji continued, her words carrying to every corner of the suite. Her research, her methodology, her breakthrough. I had the privilege of learning from her work. The patient's vitals stabilized perfectly. The valve was functioning flawlessly. In the gallery, phones were already buzzing with messages as the medical community processed what they'd just witnessed. Dr. Kim's voice came through the intercom. Dr. Choi, Are you saying Dr. Park is the original researcher behind this technique? I'm saying Dr. Park is one of the most brilliant cardiac surgeons I've ever worked with, and it's time the medical community knew it. As we completed the procedure, I caught Minji's eye across the operating table. Her nod was small but significant: acknowledgement, respect, and perhaps the beginning of redemption. Beautiful work, she said quietly. Thank you for finally seeing it, I replied. 3 hours later, the patient was stable and the media interviews had begun. This time, I stood beside Minji as she faced the cameras. Dr. Park's innovation represents the future of cardiac surgery, she told the Seoul Medical Journal reporter. This hospital is fortunate to have her expertise. Dr. Park, the reporter turned to me. How does it feel to see your research saving lives? I glanced at Minji, whose hands now rested calmly at her sides, hands that would continue to heal, guided by wisdom rather than trembling with fear. It feels like justice, I said simply. But more importantly, it feels like we're finally giving patients the best possible care. That's what medicine should always be about. As the cameras stopped rolling and the crowd dispersed, Minji approached me one final time. What happens now? She asked. Now you get the treatment you need for your essential tremor. You continue being an excellent surgeon in capacities that suit your condition. And you remember that true leadership means lifting others up, not erasing them. She extended her hand, steady now in the absence of stress and deception. Partners? I shook it firmly. Partners. Later that evening, as I reviewed the day's events in my office, my phone buzzed with a message from the hospital director. Dr. Park, please schedule a meeting to discuss your new role as Chief of Cardiac Innovation. I smiled, remembering Minji's words from weeks ago. Position is everything. And that's when I realized I never wanted her apology. I wanted her acknowledgement that the best surgeons know when to step aside and let brilliance shine.